Mama Lab asked me when I was a child, what do you want to become? Huh? I used to only think one thing that time at that age. I didn't have enough maturity to even know that what to answer. Always had one answer on my mouth. Art. If I become something, I would be art. She used to ask me, why will you choose to become an art? Become an art. I never had a right answer to it, but I always loved the idea of it. I feel I have an essence of art. I feel like I am an art. Maybe people might agree, people not agree. I don't have any issues, but this is what I feel. Everyone has their own way of thinking. Today's conversation is really fascinating. It is about my name is. So, my name is the first thing the world gives me, right? Or gives you all. And the last thing I get to decide what it means. Before people know your story, they know your name. Before they hear your story, they give it a face. And before they understand you, they begin imagining you. They hear it before they know your voice. They read it before they know your character. And slowly, your name begins collecting things, memories, mistakes, achievements, rumors, photographs, people's opinion, people's opinions, things you did, things people think you did, until one day your name becomes more than a word. It becomes a character. But here's the strange part. Sometimes people know your name without knowing you at all. They know the version of you that exists in their imagination. And sometimes you spend years trying to become worthy of your own name. Not famous, not admired, just true to it. Because eventually I think the most important question isn't, what does my name mean? It's, what will I make it mean? A name can be inherited, a reputation is built, and a legacy is created. So perhaps my name isn't who I am. It's simply the title of the story I'm still writing. And I don't need everyone to understand the story. I just want to make sure that when the last page is written, the name on the cover page belongs to the person I actually became. A name is such a little strange thing. I have only 4 alphabets name. 4 letters can be whispered, written on a letter, printed beneath a photograph, or remembered by someone long after you left the room. Before anyone knows your story, they know your name. And perhaps that's why I think a name is the first little performance we give the world. They hear it and imagine something. They pronounce it and create a version of us. They attach their memories to it, their opinions, their assumptions, their fantasies. But my name doesn't tell you who I am. It only gives you something to wonder about. I like that. I don't think a name should explain a person completely. It should feel like the title of a painting before you've seen the painting. You read it first, then you look Then you look closer, and perhaps you discover something you weren't expecting. Maybe that's how I want my name to exist. Not shouted, not forced, remembered. I don't want my name to belong only to a person. I want it to belong to a feeling, a photograph, a silence, a sentence, a piece of art, a little trouble. I love troubles. A little elegance. Something soft enough to make you curious, and just not enough to make you look twice. Because perhaps being unforgettable isn't about giving people everything. It's about leaving them with just enough to wonder what they missed. So if you ask me who I am, I could tell you. But where would be the fun in giving away the entire story before you've even turned the page? Huh? That's why I've always found names fascinating. A name can be whispered like a secret, spoken like a warning, written like a signature, or remembered like a song. But a name by itself is only a word. What makes it beautiful is everything you leave behind it. And I've always wanted to leave something behind. Not just a photograph, not just a face, not just a person people once knew. Art. I've always had a love for art, as I said in beginning. Not only the kind that hangs on a wall. No. I find art in a strange places. In a woman's lipstick after she has stopped smiling. When I hold my darling used photograph and dance alone. That's an art to me. He is an art happened to me. I love you, used. Maybe that's why I've never wanted simply to look like art. I wanted to be remembered as art. Art is my love language. And there is a difference. A beautiful person can be looked at. Art can be looked at, questioned, interpreted, remembered, misunderstood, yet rediscovered. A face changes, a photograph ages, a body changes, but an idea can outlive all of them. That's what I've always wanted, to become an idea, not in an arrogant way, in an artistic way. I want someone to encounter something I've created years from now and feel something before they even know why. I want my words to become little rooms people can enter. I want my thoughts to leave fingerprints on someone's imagination. I want someone to read a sentence and think, I felt this, but I've never known how to say it. To leave something behind that keeps breathing after they've stopped speaking. I want to leave something behind that keeps breathing after I've stopped speaking. I want someone to read a sentence and think, I've felt this, but I've never known how to say it. That to me would be recognition. Not simply I know her, but I know that feeling because of her. And perhaps there is something slightly naughty about art too. Art should flirt with your imagination. It should make you look twice. It should sometimes leave you wondering whether the artist meant what you think they meant. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. Perhaps I'll let you decide it. I don't want to explain every beautiful thing. If I tell you exactly what to feel, then I'm giving you an answer. I'd rather give you a question dressed beautifully. Let you take it home. Let it bother you a little. Let it return when you are alone. Let you wonder whether that sentence was about you. That's the kind of art I want to make. Art that behaves a little like a secret, elegant enough to belong in a gallery, naughty enough to make you lean closer, and strange enough that you aren't entirely sure whether you should. My name is Taa Rhea Sawant. But I don't want Rhea to be the end of the sentence. I want it to be the beginning. I want to fill that name with paintings that don't exist yet, words I haven't written, characters I haven't imagined, ideas I haven't dared to say aloud, mistakes I'll make, beautiful things I'll discover, some things I'll never explain. Perhaps some things I'll never explain. Because I don't want to spend my life trying to convince the world that I am interesting. I'd rather create something interesting and let the world decide. I don't need everyone to understand me. Art has never needed everyone to agree with it. Some people will love it, some will misunderstand it, some will criticize it, some will look once and walk away, and perhaps one person will stop, look again, read twice, read it twice, feel something. That's enough for me. I've done my job. Very, really well. Because maybe recognition isn't having everyone know your name. Maybe recognition is having your work become unforgettable to someone who never even met you. So one day, if someone asks, who was Rhea Sawant? I don't want the answer to be a list of facts about me. I want someone to point towards something I created and say, she made this. I will be proud of myself that day. And maybe that will be the most beautiful introduction I could ever have. Not I was beautiful, not I was famous, not everyone knew me. But I made something that remained. Because I have always had a love for art. It's an emotion for me. And perhaps secretly, selfishly, beautifully, I always wanted to become part of it. Not merely the women looking at the painting, the women who became the painting. not merely the person telling the story, the feeling inside it. And if that sounds a little vain, perhaps it is. But every artist has to be little audacious about their dreams. Otherwise, why would they create something the world have never seen? So yes, my name is Rhea Sawant. Remember the name if you like. Forget it if you don't. But if something I create stays with you after you've closed this video, turned off the screen, and walked away, then perhaps you have already met the part of me I wanted you to know. TAARHEASAWANT. That's my name. Thank you. Thank you.